Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ben Parks and I've been running for nearly 20 years and also making videos here on YouTube for the past 5. And what I love to do most is to help new runners into the sport, to make running stick so you can feel that love that I do about running. And that's what this video is all about, giving you all the essentials to get started on your running journey. Or maybe you're returning to running after a little break, or maybe you are just looking for a few more tips. So we're going to go through in really simple terms all the basics you need to get started. And then stay tuned to the end because I've got my top 3 tips for all new beginner runners to get out there and run strong. Right, let's get the Beginner's Runners Toolkit done. Now, probably the most important thing you're going to need to start running is a pair of running shoes. Now, it's really important not to go out running in your Converses, your fashion shoes, your Vans, whatever it is. Get a dedicated pair of running shoes. They'll support your feet, they'll protect you from the impact from the roads that you're running on, and they'll last a hell of a lot longer as a pair of running shoes than a pair of fashion shoes will. They're just going to be built in a slightly different, more structured way. One of those essential things of enjoying a running is making sure it is comfortable, and that's why we always recommend getting down to your local running shop, running in a few different pairs, get on a treadmill, and let them fit you for it. But obviously that's not available to everybody, so we're just going to go through 4 options really quickly now at different price points. The higher price ones are just likely to last a little bit longer. They're just made a little bit better. But yeah, just buy what you can with the budget you've got. The cheapest one we've got here is the Reebok Float Ride version 5, around 40 to 50 pounds. Moving up, we've got the Puma Velocity Nitro here, a little bit more expensive, about 70 or 80 pounds. Really good grip on this shoe. And then maybe the most popular shoe of all time, the Nike Pegasus. I think we're on version 40 at the moment. That's going to be around about 100 pounds as well. Going up a little bit more in price, the Asics Nova Blast, getting some really good quality running shoes here. This is around about 130 to 140, but all of those shoes really recommended. See what sort of prices you can find online. Now, you want your running shoes to be a little bit larger than your regular shoes, so I normally recommend going about half a size. As a very basic guide, just allow about a thumb's width at the end of the shoe, just to allow our feet to expand a little bit as we run. Moving on to clothing. Now, it's really important here to get some technical sweat wicking fabric here that will just allow the sweat to leave our body and evaporate off. If you're going to be running in like a cotton t-shirt or something, it's going to stay damp, it's going to chafe. So really try and invest in some good quality running clothing. We always like to send people to Decathlon to have some really good entry-level value kit there that will look after you really well. Or of course, check out my own website, benparks.com. We've got some fantastic technical gear on there, and we make the best running hats in the world as well, so check that out, and feel free to use code YouTube for 10% off your order. Some other items you're going to want to look at for the ladies: getting a good quality running sports bra just to keep everything in place as you run along. With shorts, I'd recommend something like getting a 2-in-1 short, just helping keep a little bit of a liner on your legs, really helps prevent chafing. And then finally, getting some good quality sports socks. Recommended brands here, things like Balaga, Stance, Hilly, Soar. They'll just help your feet to breathe a lot better. They won't overheat, much less a chance of blisters as well. And they've got padding in all sorts of the right places where you need a little bit of extra support on your feet. Right, let's move on to have a chat about how to go out training. So you've got all the gear, you're ready to go, but how do you know what to do? Well, what I recommend is head to my own website, benparks.com, and download our beginner training plans. All our beginner plans are 100% free. There's no catch or anything. We've written them there to help you out. It's really hard to know what to do, how fast to run. We've got guides telling you exactly what to do on every single day over the course of the first 10 weeks of your running journey. It's so important for anybody starting running or maybe returning from injury to do run walks at the start of any program. And you might be doing just a couple of minutes running and then a couple of minutes walking, couple of minutes running, couple of minutes walking, and just letting the body get used to that load and giving it times to recover, to absorb all of that impact it gets from running. Once you start getting towards the end of the plan, a lot of people like to find a race or potentially a park run to go and do as well. Park runs are 5 kilometers long. Maybe head to a website like Run Britain, have a browse on there, see what you can find. We've also got a great company in the UK called Run Through who put on races of all sorts of different distances, but especially 5Ks. Just check out and see if they've got one near to you. And of course, you don't have to do a race. You can go and do your own time trial or just nothing at all. Whatever works for you and whatever brings a smile to your face is the right thing to be doing. Now, final little bit in this section is it's really good to keep a diary of all of your training. A lot of people do this on a website called Strava, strava.com. which is just a digital record of everything you've been doing, basically. Now, a lot of people will simply use their mobile phone. They'll add the app onto their phone, and then using your phone's GPS, it knows where you are, knows how fast you're running, how long you've been running for, how far you've been running as well, and you can then get a whole digital record of every single run you've been on. It's also a social network as well, so you can follow your friends, you can follow some celebrities, or simply no one at all, and you can keep all of your activity completely private. It's up to you to use it however best suits you. Now, some people do like to upgrade from a phone, because with you have a phone, you've got to carry it with you. Normally people sort of put it on their arm and a strap on their arm, but it's not very easy to see that as you're running along. So some people will upgrade and get a smartwatch. You can have all of that data on your wrist as you run along, something like a Garmin 55 or a Coros Pace version 3. They're really good 2 entry-level running watches. We'd always recommend taking your phone with you on your runs anyway, just in case something happens to you or you stumble across someone that might need some help and support as well. And then finally, if keeping a whole digital record or something isn't for you, then simply just get a diary and log everything in there. And then you can look back over it over time, see the progress from day to day, week to week, and how you're progressing on your running journey. Right, as promised, my 3 key tips for all new runners. The first one is, a lot of people when they start out on their running journey, they run far too fast. They go absolutely max pace everywhere they go. I'd really recommend trying to get used to what we call conversational pace. This is a pace where you can run and have a conversation with someone else if they were running with you. Most of your running during the week should be done at this conversational pace. Running shouldn't feel overly labored, overly hard, and if it is, then we'd recommend slowing down a little bit. Point number 2 is all about nutrition. What should you have for breakfast or before you're going out on your run? For me, my favorite is a bagel with maybe some peanut butter and jam on there. I'll have that around about 2 hours to 90 minutes before I'm going out for my run. And then when I go on my run, it's nicely digested. It's not going to give any stomach cramps or anything like that. And then in terms of liquids, I'll have about a pint of water around about an hour before I go out. And then my body will be nice and hydrated. If it's going to be hot out there, I'd add an electrolyte tab in there as well. And by the time I step out for my run, I've got all the energy I need and I'm nicely hydrated for it. Now, if you want to take some things out on your run as well, that's completely up to you. If you want to carry a water bottle around with you, that's great. But if you're going out for about half an hour and the weather's not too hot, you should be absolutely fine. And then point number 3 is all about mindset. Now, when a lot of people start out, understandably, you might feel a little bit self-conscious when you're out there running. You might be thinking, are people going to be looking at me as I'm running? What do I look like when I'm running? People might be staring at me. What do my neighbors going to be thinking when I'm going out running? These are all completely normal things that everybody faces when they start out on their running journey. Of course, it's very easy for me to say, just don't worry about it. But all I can say is you'll feel really, really good once you get that run done, that post-run high. When you pause your watch or you pause your phone, it feels fantastic. So if you can, just try and push through it. No one's going to be staring at you out and about. Everybody's so caught up in their own little world, worried about their own little problems. Now, once you've mastered all of these running basics, it's then a really good idea to work on your running technique or your running form, how you're covering the ground, and work out how to do that as efficiently as possible. And I've got a video all about that with loads of tips and tricks, and that's coming up next.